Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Context Live, episode 25. I have some exciting news. We have a Facebook group now, and it's really cool because last week, if you watched the live stream, I told you we've been working hard, coming up with new content, new lessons, and all of that. So, all of that is going to be in our Facebook group. Some of it will be on our other platforms. You'll start to see different content on our different platforms. So definitely, if you're not following us on social media on the other platforms, please follow us, because if you like the stuff that we do on Twitter, if you like the stuff we do on Instagram, then you will get tons more English content everywhere by following us everywhere. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, here on YouTube, Patreon, Pinterest, LinkedIn. We're now on LinkedIn. So definitely go check us all out. The links are in the description. And I totally encourage you to just follow us and see how much more English content you can gain and how much more you can build on your current skills. Our word of the day. We're going to start with word of the day today. And the word is studious. It's an adjective, and it's related to studying. It has to do with studying. So for those of you who are new, our word of the day contest is basically every Sunday you get a word of the day. Write a sentence. It can be a very simple sentence using that word of the day. And if you write 10 sentences for 10 live streams, you can go back to previous live streams. Then you will be entered to win one of two $25 Amazon gift cards or just a $25 bank deposit. So I encourage you to take part if you're trying to beef up your writing skills, if you're trying to get better, or if you just want to practice your writing and challenge yourself a little bit, then enter the contest. Whether or not you want to actually be in the contest, then that's up to you, but definitely submit your writing samples and you'll get some really great feedback. So the word of the day, studious. Here's my sentence. Chuck is very studious. He spends hours at the library reading books and doing research. So based on the context of that story, of that sentence, we can get the idea that Chuck likes to study. He's studious. Okay, so announcement, our persuasive writing course is beginning in like 2 weeks, I think. And it's the last course of 2020. We will be having more courses. The dates for 2021 are up on our website, speakwriteplay.com. But because it's the last course of 2020, we're doing 25% off. So the class is geared for business professionals. But even if you're not in the business world, even if you're not necessarily working in the corporate world, then I say still join the class. Why? Because the grammar that you learn, the ways to write, the ways to communicate your thoughts and get your message across, the way we teach that, I mean, it's like you're going to get this phenomenal course where you're actually going to walk away with these skills that you can apply whether in a professional or in a personal setting. So if you've been thinking about starting a blog or just writing more in English, this class will give you the grammar tools that you need as well as teach you strategies on how to write. And this is like my thing. This is what I went to school for. It's my background. It's what I've been doing for the last 15 or so years. So you will definitely get everything that's in my head. I will transfer it to you so that you can walk away feeling more confident about your writing skills and your writing abilities. So definitely 25% off. Go check it out. The class begins the weekend of October 2nd. And there are multiple days that the classes are available, so you can pick whichever day works best for you. If Saturday mornings are best, then we'll do the Saturday morning class and so on and so forth. Okay, so around the world. Now, I understand that many of you who follow us on social media, you're professionals, you're working people, and when we think about what's happening right now with coronavirus, with COVID, we see that the economy has been hit hard. Meaning the economy is not doing well. The global economy, not just the U.S. economy, but around the world, the unemployment rate is increasing. More people are becoming unemployed. But then there's another issue that's happening. I was reading the article by Anisha Purbasari Horton. And basically she was saying that people are settling for jobs that don't meet their needs. So it's this whole topic of being underemployed. What does it mean to be underemployed? It means that you are working in a job that you are way too qualified for. You are overqualified. And so that's what's happening right now with COVID-19 being so widespread throughout the world. And she presented this example of a college student, well, a college graduate who took a year off after graduating to just travel and see the world. And his plan was to apply for a steady job, a job where he can have a salary, maybe benefits, and all of that. That's what it means to have a steady job. And he thought, oh, 2020, I'm going to get a steady job and then begin my career. Well, 2020, coronavirus hit, and his plans were shattered. So he had to return to his former job working at a supermarket, at a grocery store, because he wasn't able to find jobs anywhere. A lot of companies, a lot of businesses were downsizing. They were firing employees or reducing the amount of employees they have, or businesses were just shutting their doors. They were closing down for good. So these are all phrases, these are terms that we're hearing, that we've been hearing for the last 6 months or so since the virus really attacked everybody. Like, I don't think there was any country that was really immune from this virus. Now, many countries responded to this virus a lot better than others, but we won't get into that. So back to the article. There was also another mention of a professor, or a lecturer rather, at a college, a teacher, who he had been working this job, and so he had been planning to get on a tenure track. So for those of you who don't know, in academia, at universities, there are tenured and there are non-tenured professors. A tenured professor means your job is secured. It's guaranteed. You've gone through all these processes and you're basically like, you're comfy. You could just stay at your job and stay there until you're retired, because you and the school have basically entered into this agreement where, I mean, it would take a lot for you to get fired, to lose your job. So because he's not tenured, and he was going to try to become tenured or apply to tenured positions this year, his plans completely changed once the virus hit. And so you have people who are overqualified for jobs, and they're settling for these professions, for these jobs that, like, normally they wouldn't even consider. So what does it mean to be overqualified? Let's say you have a doctorate, a PhD in economics, but you're working at the local grocery store. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a jab. It's not an insult to people who work at grocery stores or supermarkets. But listen, if I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a doctoral degree, I'm not working at a grocery store for way less than I should, because I've spent years of my life I've devoted that time to studying, and I've spent so much money to getting this degree. And I did all of that because I was trying to position myself so that I would be secure. I wouldn't have to worry about whether or not I have a job, or whether or not I'm going to be able to pay my bills or live the kind of lifestyle I want to live. So that's more so my commentary. It's not to downplay, it's not to put down people who work at grocery stores or other types of jobs like that. It's to basically put it into perspective. So people who have like master's degrees, doctoral degrees, multiple degrees, for them, they are settling when they have to work at a local grocery store, because we're told, right, if you have these degrees, if you attain higher learning, then you'll be able to get better paying jobs, higher paying jobs. So that's the commentary. And so I'm kind of wondering, what about you? How would you feel about having to settle for a job that you're overqualified for? And maybe you're in that position right now. Maybe because of the virus, your company downsized or you lost your job. And so you're working a job that you really like, you're just too qualified for it. You could be doing a lot more because of your academic background, your experience, things like that. So if that's you, or if you just want to like kind of like have that discussion, please put it in the chat and tell me your thoughts, because this is an issue that's plaguing the entire world. So let's move on to today's topic. Let's talk about accuracy versus fluency. First of all, let's define it, right? Accuracy is saying the right thing basically all the time, being accurate in your speech. Fluency has to do with your ability to speak with confidence like a native speaker. And so you're just like talking. It doesn't matter if you're correct 100% of the time, but you're just communicating in a way that lets others know that you are comfortable in your speech. The major question, which one is more important? So in my notes, I say that accuracy comes as you gain fluency. There are a lot of people. In fact, I worked with, I had a former friend. She's back in her home country now, but she had that personality that you just loved her. Whether she was speaking in her mother tongue, which is Turkish, or in English, like her personality, it just allowed you to fall in love with her and listen to her speak, even though her English wasn't perfect and she made a ton of mistakes. Like, as a native speaker, I didn't pay attention to her mistakes because I just enjoyed talking to her. I enjoyed conversing with her. And so I think in that case, fluency was more important than her accuracy. But in general, I would say that accuracy comes as you gain fluency. So if there's a person who's struggling and they're frustrated with their English language, their abilities, their speaking, I would say focus more on practicing actual speaking, speaking with confidence, worrying less about being perfect. Perfection will come. If you think about language learning and you take the approach as that of a child, children, when they're learning the language of their home country or the language of their parents, they make tons of mistakes. But the parents always correct them. They're exposed to television, they're exposed to books, and all of those forms to help improve their language. So as a child, they're not focused on, oh my gosh, am I saying everything perfectly? They're just trying to become more confident and fluid in the way that they communicate. Because as they become more fluid, the corrections come and they'll begin to correct themselves. They'll begin to autocorrect or self-correct. And so that's what I say to you. I would say stop focusing so much on having perfect English. There's no such thing as perfect English. Language, I've said it before, language morphs, it changes, it evolves over time. And with so many different people and dialects and regions, especially in America, I code switch. I code switch all the time. Depending on who I'm with will determine the type of English I use. And so that's why I say there's no perfect English. Because if I'm with one group of people, I speak in a way that's easier for them to understand. I don't use my $20 words from my academic background to communicate with people who may not understand that. Similarly, I don't use more informal jargon vernacular with people who are like PhDs or they live in academia in that world. So it's more about being able to just speak with confidence. And as you're speaking, as you're exposing yourself to more books, movies in English, and actually conversing with people, whether or not they're native speakers, I would suggest if you aren't exposed to native speakers, try to be around people who have a higher English speaking ability than you do, because then they will push you to try to become better in your skills, to build your skills. So the great debate, accuracy versus fluency. Accuracy comes as you gain fluency. As you begin to speak with more confidence and you begin to speak with fluidity, then you'll notice your English will improve, you'll make less mistakes, it'll be more accurate. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. The Word of the Day contest ends this month, which means next week is the last opportunity, the live stream. And so get all your entries in before the end of this month because we're picking a winner in October. I will see you next week. Bye.